Oh, God.
Good evening to Sweden. Hooty, hooty, flip, flip.
We're on Eurovision now.
England, Milpa.
Milpa again.
So loud. Not how loud it is, but whatever. Hello and good evening. Oh, look, Matt's had an earthquake. Move the thing is like, ah!
It's raining heavily here tonight.
It's like one of those things from Saturday morning TV where the cameraman's running around with the camera. Dynamic. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Flory Models Thursday night show. Yes, we are on. And to answer Gordon's question, blimey, we're on. We only have it off when we do specials. We have the chat off purely because if we've got a special guest in, it's a bit distracting when you have a million questions. So we tend to just keep it fixed for when we have any of the specials. So just think yourself lucky that it went out live to the metaverse, whatever it is.
Does that mean we've got to chat off tonight because we've got John as our special guest?
Is he? Is he going to stay awake?
Oh, that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
That's it. Well, we've put it on so John has to watch it and monitor it. He can go in and kick out all the waifs and strays and undesirables and people like that. Anyway, we trust you're all good. Your week is going good. And obviously your modelling is going good as always. Thursday night show, so we've got some questions to go through. And because I'm running slightly behind here, I might not have actually queued up everything that was sent to me earlier.
Oh dear.
I do
all that effort, John, you put in and you can't be bothered.
One job.
Right, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. Tell us what you've been up to, and I'll grab another tab, and I'll just quickly grab it all. Right, so, talk, because I can't see you. You're on a different tab.
We'll start with John. John, what have you been up to this week?
What have I been up to? Let me get me overhead on.
Oh.
I've been working on my little berry, Ev.
Yes.
So, as you can see, she's all painted up.
Looking very nice.
In the nice sort of firefighting scheme that's in the box.
Yeah.
And it's had a panel line wash.
And whose panel line did you use?
I used a oil-based panel line wash.
God, it's a good job I don't leave you lot to it often, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I decided against Phil's on this one because it is really very, very fine surface detail on it.
Yeah.
So I just went around with an oil wash.
Looks smart though.
But yeah, no, it's coming on okay. I haven't weathered the engines up yet, but the engines sit on the back like that.
Lovely.
Oh, hold on, what have I done? Oh, hold on.
And
talk amongst yourself. I'm almost there.
Well,
I'm importing them now. Seamless, this.
Okay. So decaling next then, John, yeah?
So decaling next, yeah. So, yeah, some nice big decals as well, right down the side. Nice red and blue stripe goes down the side. And some really thin striping goes along the bottom of the hull, the keel.
Right.
So that'll be fun, putting them on and trying to get them straight. But
it's only a little kit.
Was it? Yeah, a lot of decals though.
God, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
There you go. Can you show us all again, John? Now you're on full screen.
Yeah, go through that again, John.
So I've never had a problem with vested decals before. They go down pretty well. So yeah, that's the next job, decaling.
So would you recommend that kit?
Oh yeah, it's a lovely little kit.
I think it's.
I've not been rushing with it, and this is not just under 2 weeks got to this stage.
Yeah.
And that's mainly just doing some work at the weekends on it. So yeah, I can highly recommend their new little 144 kits. Almost tempted by some of their airliners possibly as well. Their newer airliners.
Blimey.
Well, I did their 787 because it's reboxed, wasn't it, by Revel?
Yeah.
That's a Zvezda kit. That was all right.
Yeah, could be tempted. But
Yeah,
that's what I've been up to.
I thought you'd be tempted with the, like we said before, the mainstay and Midas and the little 144s. Antonov things.
Yeah, could do, yeah.
This is it. John's going to turn into someone who's going to just do all the little 144 airliners. He's going to become an airliner builder. And then he'll work his way up to his big stuff.
To be honest, they're nice because they go together really quick.
Yeah.
But they're not like the little 144 fighters and stuff that are really like, you know, tiny and fiddly. It's still, you know, a manageable size. And you don't have to faff around with all, like, you know, the internal detail and all that. You can just whack it together and get a quick result out of it. So, yeah, I can thoroughly recommend it.
Cool. Good
stuff. Job. Look, hold on. It's just something I'm just going to try here. Look. Just, that's it. There you go. I didn't realise Andy's just jumped into the chat as well, onto the YouTube chat. So that's it. I've made him a moderator. I don't know what he can do. He'll probably turn us off now in truthful fashion. So, yes. Anyway, good job. So, very nice. What have you been up to, Matt?
Well, not a jag, unfortunately.
Not this
week.
Oh, a jag. Sorry, I thought you said something else.
No, I didn't. No,
turn your sound up a bit.
I'll be back on the jag on Saturday, I think, at this rate. So Saturday morning's filming morning now, from unless I can find some time in the week. No, I've dug another half-started kit.
Right, hold on.
So
let me just get you. Hold on. I'm going to pull you up a bit.
There you go. So if you see that, look, I've got a box of bits.
Hold on. Oh, there you go.
I'll show look, on the thing, look. So I've been building a dragon kit. So a nice Marder 2 tank destroyer. And I think this week I've mainly got the gun together, which is a kit in itself. And that was the bit I stuck on wrong. And luckily I noticed and changed it. Yeah. Because I stuck the one on for the actual gun carry, you know what I mean? Proper gun.
Yeah.
And I've been, what else was I been doing? I'm just putting the little bits and bobs on, really, all the sticky out bits, and you know, most of it's pretty done and ready for paint. But obviously, I'm gonna have to do it in sort of sections of painting it because of how it is designed. But it's all right. I tell you what, I've noticed it's a long time since I built a proper dragon kit, and I forgot how soft the styrene is. It is actually quite, I wouldn't say Airfix-esque, but not far off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. They're styrene. I must admit, I can't remember last time I did a dragon kit. It was a while ago, but they do. It's always quite soft, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's nicely moulded. It's sharply detailed, but it's actually quite workable. And it don't have to take well just extra thin.
Yeah.
So that'll go on the back of there. That'll go on there, and then the sides will go on and all that. So yeah. So that's getting there. I've got metal tracks for it as well. So I've got some, I presume these are Reebok Thrill tracks. I don't know, from AK or somebody's, but metal tracks. So they'll be fun. Because that's the other option. Hold on. There's the other option. I
could understand. Oh, but they are magic tracks.
Oh, they are magic. So yeah, it is actually just sticking them together. But I thought, well, no, the metal tracks will last longer, I think, stay together. But at least you ain't got all that cleanup I've had with the other thing. Cutting them off and cleaning them before you can glue them together. But yeah, so getting there. I don't mind these, to be honest. You do get some photo etch and tons of aftermarket. I don't know how many sprued bits I'll have left over when I've done, but it'll be a few.
Yeah.
There's always give you a lot more. But yeah, the thing is, if you are thinking of tackling the dragon kit, especially like one of their smart kits, I know their instructions can be a bit wayward, but actually follow them.
Yeah.
Because you have, as you can see off that, you do get a lot of all the blue stuff, and some of the other kits, I know there's more, but obviously they're not needed. You don't need them off the instructions. But like I said, was it yesterday or the day before, whenever, the instructions have been really good, and there haven't been any faults, as in numbering and stuff, from what I've found so far. So that was a plus. So
I've never built a dragon kit.
Have you not?
No.
I built a couple.
Yeah, the last armour one I did their Panzer 4, I think it was.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a build of it ages. That is older.
That was, wasn't it? But it was nice. And to say, I did the P51, their 32nd one, years ago as well.
Yeah, I mean, they were the state-of-the-art company at one point, weren't they? I know they've probably been a bit surpassed now with other ones, but back in the 90s and early 2000s, they were like definitely for armour, is the go-to manufacturer. So yeah.
So me, this week, I've been obviously pushing on with this where I can. So obviously the interior bits are done and it's sort of weathered and ready to go. There's a lot more to go in here, but I need to put the roof on first because, as we know, a lot of the gear attaches to the roof, and there's oxygen bottles that are go in here and various other stowage items on the back, and there's more seats. But because it literally has to come in and it sort of sandwiches all in, it sort of goes all in like this. It'll be easier to put it in. Then there's another doory bit which is going to go on here and start to fill in. So what I'll do that somewhat nearer the time as it comes in. But again, the front end, as you can see, once it starts to go in, it's going to get a bit crammed in there. You're not going to be able to see much that's going on, but we know it's all in there, which is the main thing. So that's that. And then today I've been detailing engines. So we've done the engines of these. So obviously the engines themselves are non-existent really. So I've gone in and done all the plumbing and wiring and things like that. So thanks to Ian, he posted up all the photos of the engines for these in the forum. So I've used those as references somewhat to go through. So I've done all my wiring and my bits of piping and stuff like that. So some of it's lead wiring, some of it's plastic tubing as well, just to detail them up to give them a little bit more of a look. It needs to have a wash yet, and it will have a little bit more wiring, but I'll wait until it's installed and out of the way and covered up, because at the moment every time you touch it you're going to be crushing wiring and stuff. So those are all sort of done, coming together very nicely like that. And then this afternoon, once I've done that, we were just into this joy, which is the rotor head, which, to be honest, I could spend the next, well, sort of 2 years really telling you how bad it is and what's wrong with it, but it'll probably be easier if you'd have watched the video build when that comes up on this one. But needless to say, it's got working folding rotors. It's different to the other versions. It's only the Seahawk that has these ones, but in their infinite wisdom, they've molded a couple of the parts back to front. So you've actually got to go in there, cut them all apart, and then reassemble it in the correct way round. Otherwise, what happens is one of these is facing the wrong way. So brilliant. So one blade is actually going backwards. But anyway, that one's coming together very, very nicely and everything. I was thinking, I don't know, because obviously it's not technically correct, but with the kit, you do get two types of rotors. You get the sort of normal Air Force Army ones and the Navy ones. Now, the Navy ones fold up, the Air Force ones don't. So I thought you could have two sets. You could have it open and closed. Because you know full well, if this is supposedly working, a couple of twists with it, they're going to snap off. So, but yeah, so anyway, that's that thing all done, coming together very nicely and everything. So yes, coming along very, very nicely. And as I say, the next part of that will be up with you tomorrow. So that'll be part 2, which is talks about the painting and the detailing into the cockpit area. Then obviously part 3 will be into the engines, rotor head, and you'll be catching me up then as we make our way through next week. So yeah, doing all right. And actually, usual thing, the instructions are rubbish. Take no notice of the instructions, because all they'll do is lead you on a merry mystery tour of what you think it should be and what it really is. And needless to say, some of the parts are marked wrong again. So engine one's around the wrong way, for instance, and it says about part whatever it is, and there is no part whatever it is, which is handy when you're on the sprue going, okay, so where is it? It's not actually on there, but yeah. But anyway, I'll talk you all through it anyway, so you'll see all about that one, and we'll cover it a little bit more when it comes together. So, yes.
So you know, obviously you're displaying them open, I would have thought.
Yes.
So have you got to detail the inside of the engine covers, or are they already done in the kit?
They're pretty much done in the kit anyway. I might add a little bit more, just a few bits, because the engine covers on these are actually pretty good, because they open up like that and you can walk on them. So they are proper solid. It's not like fiddly things that just open up. These are literally just, they open up and then they sit like that. And you can actually use these as work areas for the engine. Being Navy, they're quite good at those types of things. So it should be a good, solid, open and close fit with it. And we do it that way. It's just that, unfortunately, you can't get the gearboxes in there because they don't seem to fit. So I'm going to have to cut them in half to get those in and everything. So, but yeah, no, it will be. I still would actually, there's a big part of me wants to fold it up now, because I think it'll look nice all opened up and folded up, remove before flight tags and all the rest of it, put some wheel chocks in it, stuff like that. But you're going to lose the detail on the tail. And that's really why I'm doing it. It's because you've got the gorgeous artwork on the tail, but if it's half of it's folded round underneath the helicopter, and by the time you've got all the sort of, I don't know what they call them, clamps and low barrings that go in and hold the blades, it's going to cover the entire tail. So you're going to lose all that detail on the tail plane, so, and on the tail system. So yeah, never mind.
So, in the kit then, you know the engine covers, are
Yeah.
they actually meant to be open? Because you know what Kitty Hawk's like, everything is...
It does say it's an option, but luckily it literally is. I've got them here. They are these. So you've got a couple of ejector pins in this, but they are literally just that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pop some plastic card in it.
That's a look.
It's these. So,
Right.
so yeah, they just literally sit on here like that. And they got nice little grills on this for the tops. Yeah. And then they'll come down. So what I was going to do is take out the ejector pins on these ones, put some reinforcements onto it as the real things have got, and then be good to go on that one. A little bit of plastic card.
I've got an idea.
Yeah.
They've hinges, haven't they?
Yes.
Why don't you drill and pin them so you can actually do it properly?
Shush now.
What do you reckon, John?
That's a good idea.
I think that's a lovely idea for somebody who wants to do that.
I could be wrong, but I'm not sure whether it's Res Kit are doing replacement resin rotor heads for the Seahawk family.
I think it's a 3D printed one in it as well, or something.
Yeah.
So they are. But again, yeah, all right, that's a classic example. Now I've known it and I've shown you how to do it. It's probably only an extra 10 minutes work. It's figuring it out what they've freaking done, how they've screwed it up because it doesn't work. And then as soon as you think it's because they've molded it back to front, they should have done a flip. All it is literally they should have flipped the mold, and that's how it has. So what you got to do is cut the parts off, flip it, and then reattach them on the right side. So once you do it, it's actually not really a problem. And actually from here, if I just show it like this, you'll probably be hard pushed to see which one's wrong. Sorry. You'll be hard pushed to see which one is the wrong one, you know, or the one that I've actually fixed. But one of these here was actually, if you imagine one of these back to front,
right?
You know, so again, it's very difficult to sort of see where it's actually wrong. It's all a loose fit at the moment. It's all can come apart.
Somebody else.
But yeah, it's all right.
Nice.
Yeah, I had that with the Sabre dog. Well, I was doing a dry fit where you've got the intake trunking comes to the chin there.
Yeah.
It was about 1 centimetre back.
Yeah.
And I was there for about half an hour trying to suss out what was wrong, what I'd done wrong. And what it is on the, because the D model has got a lengthened fuselage.
Yeah.
Or the K has compared to the D. And on the sprue, there's like a plastic ring that inserts on the engine, but it's nowhere in the instructions.
No.
Put that on, and it's lovely. It fits flush right to the front. But like I say, it's not in the instructions anywhere.
No. Typical, but yeah,
that's Kitty Hawk for you, isn't it?
It is, and it is so annoying because the details there. Actually, it does go together. It's just these tiny little mistakes that they keep making. Because let's face it, back in the day, Kitty Hawk used to have some real shit kits. You know, they used to get mismolds in every single one. You get ejector pins that have gone right the way through the item. You know, that was pretty common. And they were truly awful. And you'd have a bag of, like, you know, release agent. They were sopping wet in release agent, which used to make me wonder how they couldn't get it out of the mold. But and everything else, and it was always like multi-part, really complex way they went together. And over the last 5 years, they've ironed all of that out. But it's almost like they need to say, right, we're going to release it on whatever date, but we're going to wait a month just to make sure everything's okay, and get a couple of people to build it. Look at the instructions. That's all it takes, and find all those little errors before it goes in. But it's almost like I've said, they seem to rush them out the door. You know, so. You're going to get those things, you know. I think it just needs to be a little bit of a step back from them, make sure it's right, and they'll be fine.
You do realise Revell are celebrating now, don't you?
Why?
Because we ain't picking on them tonight.
Well, no, they're our manufacturer of the year, I thought, for this year.
Well, they are
with
mine.
the Jag.
100% mine.
So, yes, good job. Right, shall we have a look at this week's picks of the pops?
Yes. Pick of the pops.
Pick of the pops. Right. Okay. So, which one are we starting with? Is it that one, or have we done that one? Oh, that's that one. Right.
How many is the fill?
There's only 5.
All right. So at number 5.
So at number 5, we've got Ash Whitehouse, and he's done. Is that an Akula? Which one's that? It is an Akula. Look, check me out now with Russian subs. Only because he's got a big thing at the back here. I don't even know what it is, but yes, he's got a radar at the back there. So yes, so this is the 1 to 350th Hobby Boss Akula class Russian sub.
It just looks cool, doesn't it?
It does. It's really clever because let's face it, there's not a lot going on with it, but the weathering has to be spot on to give it that scale effect, and he's absolutely nailed it. Looks great. Yeah. The paint has to be sort of slightly sort of changing and catches the light in that certain way, because let's face it, anyone could just paint it red and black and be done. But
it's not it's not battered either.
No. Yeah, it's not like it's been stuck under the, Kursk.
just the design of it. It looks like something out of a Jerry Anderson flipping series.
I do like these lump-on bits. Yeah, they're quite cool, aren't they? And a cargo door. What's that? Obviously, it has it. I take it, but yeah, it's got a side-loading door like an airliner.
They're a big thing, though, aren't they? They're blooming massive.
Oh, they're huge, aren't they? Yeah, I know that the Typhoons, especially, aren't they? They're just monsters.
Yeah. That's nice. That's really nice.
It's very, very nice. Good job on that, because again, they're not easy stuff to do. I've always fancied doing them, and I've had a go at one, and to be honest, I didn't make a very good job of it. So I sort of haven't been back to that genre since doing subs. But that didn't help, because I did the old, what is it, the Rebel 144 one, is it? Whatever it is.
What, the proper U-boat?
Yeah, the one with an open side so you can see the workings.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I keep looking at that new Das Works one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Das Work one's the way to go.
Cool. But, yeah, you'd need an extension to put that when you're massive.
That's it. Well, you got room in your shed there, John. You'll be fine. So anyway, Ash, well done. We salute you. Okay, Tony at number 4 has got a very, very nice Tamiya 1/20th scale. This is the Honda RA272 Formula 1 car. See, look, when men driving that.
Yeah, definitely.
They're all mad.
No halo protection in that, is there?
Yes, there is no protection.
There's no protection. I'm surprised it's got any seatbelts.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think the way they saw it is don't bother with a seatbelt. Should be thrown clear of an accident rather than be part of it.
Yeah, so you've landed on your head.
Yes.
Flips.
But no, very nice. Very classic kit as well, that Tamiya kit.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Yeah, he's done a good job on that.
That is very, very nice job. Nice weathering, and with the details on there, the paint job's very good.
So that's one of them that go with like the Ebro kits, wasn't it? Like the Braverman Lotuses and stuff of the same era, is it?
Yeah, I like the way the engine. You've seen the engine. Obviously, it's going across.
Transverse, isn't it?
It's a transverse engine.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I never noticed that, actually.
No, but it's got a transverse engine on it. I thought it'd just be, the standard. But yeah, no, that's Jesus Christ.
It's only 1 litre.
Yeah, a 1 litre bomb right behind you, literally right behind. If that fired out a rod or a piston, it's going to take the back of your head off. Anyway, as we said, no safety in those days. Good job. Well done. Very, very nice job on that one.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got from Les, because we're on the airliners now, because John's converted to airliners. We've got here a very nice, this is the Airfix Trident 144
Yeah,
scale.
no, I picked this because it's an old Airfix kit, so it's not the greatest, but he's done a cracking job on that.
Nice livery as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very striking.
It's a Trident 2. Oh, look. And
There's
there's the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's put a lot of work in to get a finish like that. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, not easy, especially obviously working with the Dayglow orange with silver.
No.
As well, that's a nightmare, working with them two together. Very nice job.
I think the only airliner I have it was the BAC 111, is it?
Yeah.
Which is an old Airfix kit a few years ago, and it didn't end well, put it that way. It's not the best kit, so I'm with John with that. I know they're not the greatest of kits, so to get anything off decent is a job well done to me.
I must admit, I've always had a soft spot for a certain aircraft. It's the Lockheed 1011. It's like the 3-engine one. Christ, what was it?
TriStar.
Like a TriStar, yeah. And but yeah, I as a young child, I had a couple of pictures of one in a book, and it was taken at night, and the cockpit was lit up from the outside and everything, and it was a head-on shot, and it looked absolutely fantastic. And then since then, I've always had a real soft spot for that aircraft. Not that I'm planning to go out and build one anytime soon, but yeah.
Does anybody do one in a kit?
I don't. Oh yeah, they do. Hasegawa do it because I have seen it.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I'm not that worried.
What scale's that then? Is that one of their 1-200?
I think it is. Yeah, it's one of their 1 to 200 kits. Yeah. So, but yes, definitely. Anyway, good job on that one, Les. Nice job. As I say, it's got that nice finish to it right the way through. Not too glossy and not dead flat. So very good job on that one. And next up, we've got Mike has been. Oh, right. Sorry. I see what. Yeah, the forum's doing a bit funny thing. If you put a link in these days, it puts pictures in. That's why occasionally the PM ones are like the size of your screen. So that's what that is. So if you click on that bar, it will take you to the actual build log of it. But Mike's been very busy building the 32nd scale Valeria. How do you pronounce that, Matt?
What?
How do you pronounce it?
Oh, oh God, yeah.
John, you're fluent.
Solder. Anyway, the aviatic resin kit.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
Is that the one I've got here?
Yes, you've got an aviatic kit.
Yeah, is that the same one? Hold on, I've just got to check, see if it's the ones I've got here. Which one have I got here? Oh, look, yeah, see. I have that kit. Now I know what it would look like if I ever built it. Saves me having to build it now. Look, everyone, you can build this one.
Just go back up to the engine.
Yes.
That's a work of art, that engine on its own, isn't it?
Very nice. If you haven't seen one of their kits, seriously, I've done the review on it. Go and have a look because it is, we often talk about wingnut wings, but honestly, for bang for buck, you should see what's inside this lot. It's got twice as much as a part count as anything you find from wingnut wings. And it's all resin and it's, hours of fun. So anyway, probably years of fun actually.
Yeah, probably.
So yes, but no, very nice job. Nice little base as well for it.
The rigging on it, you look close up at the rigging, is really, fantastic job. I wouldn't have the patience to do it.
No.
Nor the eyesight.
No.
See, the things you do in lockdown.
Yeah. That's stunning. That's really nice.
It's a very, very nice engine on that.
I say being resin as well, it's probably not the easiest thing to.
No.
I say their decals are fantastic. If you do build World War One, I think they do a lot for the old wingnut wings kits because they're better decals. The wingnut wings kits, if I remember being told, people who built them, the decals aren't that good.
Yeah.
But they go out and buy the aviatic aftermarket ones, and apparently they're fantastic, especially like the lozenge schemes, and all that stuff. So yeah. Lovely.
It is beautiful work of art, that one. So well done for that one on that one, Mike. It's absolutely lovely. Okay, last up for today, we've got Clive, and he's been busy with an Edard Mark 1 Spitfire.
Yeah, I picked this because if you read the little bit at the top, it's his first model back after many, many years.
Well, you'd never know, Clive, because it looks fantastic, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It amazes me. We get people and they're like, oh, it's my first model, or I've just returned to the hobby after 30 years. And they're like absolutely stunning. And you think, I must be really bad at this. Because I do it every day of my life and it still looks junk. So, yes, that's absolutely fantastic. Beautiful work. Nice grubby on the underside. I didn't realise they were metal on the back and front, were they? With the wings?
No, I didn't either.
No? Well, obviously, probably is. But...
Yeah, obviously are.
Look, children, can you, sod off? Sure, you've got things to do. Sorry, being pestered. Out. Yes, very, very nice job. Good job on that one. Very nice job. Lovely. Very nice. Very, very nice. There we go. Cool job. We'll leave it there as a little homage here. But yes, this is that kit. So just to give you, obviously you can go off and see the review, but if you have a look, see here, you can see just what goes into one of their kits. Look at that. that's what you get, boys and girls. It's literally bags, and you get little reference shots with each bag. So you're making that item, and you're making that item. So that's your reference bag, but they do them in bags. So that's your prop, and obviously the radiator bit. So you get a bag with the reference item in it. I've never seen any other company do it. That's just for wheels. So obviously you've got your wheels and the reference photos. So each card has got, you know, each bit you get in here is the reference for what you're working on. And it goes right the way through. But again, it's complete resin. So kudos, because you do get, mine I must admit isn't too bad, but some of these can warp. So, but yes, they are literally a work of art. And I'd say the decal sheet and all the stuff that comes with it, that's something else on its own. So,
what's the poster?
Yeah, that's the poster of it. You get a little poster with it, and then down in here, that's you get all of the decals, so literally like that. And then you get also a very nice book, which is very Wingnet Wings-esque, as you might imagine.
Oh yes.
But you need it, to be honest, you really do need it in this kit. And then obviously, as you can see, this is on a hard piece of plyboard or whatever you call it, foam board, to keep it all flat. But if you notice, it's got pins. That's what I love about this kit. It's resin, but it's reinforced, so it won't sag. So don't think in years to come it's all going to sag. So yes, so more decals, and also you get a huge great sheet of photo etch. And obviously this here is all rivety things for the stitching.
Oh yeah.
So it's all, you know, it's done by HGW, so these are raised rivets that give stitching effect. So yes, so if you ever fancy having thrown yourself at something, then that's what you do. I'll somehow get all back in the box later.
You're making me want to go out and buy one now.
Yes, I tell you, that's why Mike's done a fantastic job, because that is not a kit for the weekend. That's not a weekend build. It's a little bit more than that. So, definitely. There we go. Cool. Right, how are we doing in the chat? Are we all good? Everyone all right in chat? Just making sure they're all good. I know Andy's in there and Nathan's in there tonight. Unless they've decided to, I don't know, Uber Eats or something. Very nice. Right, shall we jump into questions?
Yes, do some questions.
Questions. Okay, so what have we got? Okay, so first up, we've got Robert. I think he was following on, but we probably cut him off before he got going. He was saying, "Hi, Phil and team. Unfortunately, you missed the end of the show. So in response to Pramjit's question, early war armor soft skins like the Matilda Mark I would have been a good or heavy British artillery. Cheers for responding. There you go. An interesting show. There we go. I can't remember what we were on about now. It was a while ago." Soren says, "Hi Phil and team. Years ago, I got back into the hobby. I bought the Hasegawa F16 in 1/48 scale. I was curious about aftermarket resin parts and also bought the Ares cockpit set for the Hasegawa kit. It went together with no issues at all. Later, I bought an F16 and bought the Ares resin cockpit replacement label for the Kinetic. It was too big and didn't fit that kit. I ended up making a right mess of it. I discovered that the resin parts were exactly the same as the ones for the Hasegawa F16. Only difference was the photo etch parts." Oh, did they do a little bit of a I know it'll fit both honest? A fellow scale modeler told me a similar experience with the Ares cockpits with the F18 from the Hobby Boss kit or Kinetic. I don't remember which one. From a purely business point of view, I can understand why Ares would reissue to maximize profits. However, the consumer, I can't help but feel ripped off. What are your thoughts on this? Absolutely, I can understand that. You know, if you've spent it and it doesn't fit, and all they've literally done is take one from another kit to do it, and because that's what we were saying, different kits are different. You know, it may be just 0.5 mil, but if it's 0.5 mil each side, it's going to be 1 millimeter out, which means you're not going to be able to shoehorn a resin cockpit into it. So from that point of view, I would be a bit niffed as well. Sometimes I have. If you go back and look at when I did the 4B, the Academy kit, I used the Hasegawa photo etch set in it and had to make the odd little bit of adjustments because you'd think the photo etch set would fit. No, it doesn't, because it's slightly wider or narrower, and I ended up having to shim some off and actually sand away the metal from the photo etch to get it to fit in the cockpit, because the Academy kit is clearly narrower than the Hasegawa one. So, yes. But yeah, I can understand that. I would be a little bit niffed if that's all they've done is literally it. Or it may be like we were saying the other day, is that sometimes, their stuff has always needed a little bit of finesse to get it in. They've never been a drop-in fit. The F-16 would be, because let's face it, upside down, plug it in the bottom, you're good to go. It's not a rocket science fit on that one. But trying to get complex ones in, like Hornets and Tomcats and Phantoms, they take a little bit more work.
Yeah, I was going to say they've always had a bit of a reputation, haven't they, of needing a bit of fettling.
Yeah. Okay, back in the 90s, you would, when you bought a resin kit like that, you would have to sand it. It's what we were talking about the other day, wasn't it, on the show?
We were about it yesterday, weren't we? We read the cockpits, and I know Ben on the chat yesterday was butchered his Revell Phantom trying to fit a resin cockpit. Here his resin cockpit, I think, is in chat today, so we had to get another one because you were saying they've got to be. You got to thin the plastic on the sidewalls, and you've got to thin the plastic of the resin, so it's like nearly see-through to get them to fit. And you fitted enough of them, haven't you? So, yes.
I was going to say, the biggest one I remember is if you do an F-14 Tomcat, you have to sand the sidewalls of the cockpit of the plastic till you can see light through it. You hold it up to the light, and if you can see your hand behind it, you know you're about right. Because without it, you can't get that cockpit in full stop because it's just too wide. And what happens is, if you force it into there, you either crack the plastic or you crack the resin, so...
But that's wasn't that the limitations of...
Yeah, and it was the limitations in the day. Yes, definitely.
So obviously nowadays, like we were saying yesterday, you'll probably end up 3D printing your own or something, wouldn't you, in about 10 years or whatever, I don't know. But
because I remember, when we spoke about it, the Mosquito spoke about it a lot, that you get the cowlings, outer cowlings for the engines for the Mosquito in 1/32 scale, but literally I have never seen resin that thin in my life. Because I think it's like the SLA printing way that they do it, but literally you can see daylight through it all day long. It is that thin. It's incredibly thin. And when you're literally cutting it off, you just swipe it with a knife and it comes off. It's literally like cutting paper. So that is testament to how far it's gone. It got beautiful, all the riveting details on the inside with all the panels and everything else like that onto it. In resin, and they say you go back to Aries in the 90s and it was big chunky stuff because they had to get it out the mold and stuff like that, so yeah, definitely we've come a long way.
We have, things have moved on.
Keith says, hi Phil and team, my preferred method for filling ejector pins is Mr. Surfacer 500. My Lotus has a lot on the underside to fill. Left it for 2 days, then sanded, thinking it had a perfect finish. I didn't rush. I used a rough stick, so there was no heat built up. And then Mr. Surfacer 1500 primer on top. They showed. So I refilled, sanded and primed again. Could it be that these put Mr. Surfacer 1500 over the top of 500 and it's now reactivated the 500 and it shrunk?
Thing is, if you're going to put lacquer thinners over it, then it's probably going to eat into what's below because it has to bite, doesn't it? It could be that,
Sprue goo in it I use first.
Yeah, we were saying this, aren't we, before? Probably sprue goo is better, or perhaps an acrylic like perfect plastic putty or something.
Yeah.
Instead of a lacquer based.
Because just thinking about it, if you have put it on and it was fine, and then you had no issues with it, if you put on quite a wet coat right over the top, then it's going to literally reactivate it. Probably not tons, but what it's going to do is as that dries, it's going to shrink because all fillers shrink. Everything, even the sprue goo and even plastic putty and all those ones, they will shrink back. Let's face it. So if it's reactivated. Just on a side
note, and this is only me because obviously I've built that kit. But why bother filling them underneath? I don't, I know, like the ones you can see under the wheel arches, you won't see because the wheels literally fit in them.
Yeah, that you can't see.
Low.
Yeah.
and it sits low. The back axle covers the ones in the back. And perhaps, you know, the ones on the floor. But again, the car sits that low, unless you're picking it up and looking underneath. So whether you're doing it for practice, I don't know, and that's fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you say, it could be just reactive.
If they're that big, what I have done before is just punch discs out of plastic card and glue them in.
Yeah, flat and then sand them back.
Yeah,
I think sprue goo. Sprue goo is the best.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's it. Yeah, sprue goo it. I'm thinking the self-leveling thinner in my fifth period is dissolving the filler. It probably is, yes. I think the SLT to remove the filler and replace it with perfect plastic putty, because that's the other thing as well. Like we were saying, it's all to do with layers and what you can go over and, you know, things. So you could go over with like 500, it's great, and give it quite a wet primer coat that could reactivate it underneath, and you could end up with a tiny little bit of sinkage. So you might want to just remember what you're going over with. You know, like I did the engines on this. Normally I would use extreme metals, but I want to give them an oil wash later. So if you put enamel thinners over extreme metals, it's going to melt it. So yes, that's one of those things to think about.
I've just read it further on, so he's thinking with like I'm priming with AK flat aluminium, so he wants it right. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you're going to be priming afterwards and all of that, it'd be great. But again, it's one of those things. All fillers tend to shrink back over some point. So I think all it's done is rehydrated it and it shrunk it back a little bit more as it dries off. Oh, by the way, I never copy and paste. I always talk. I can on a keyboard. You've met me. You know I'm similar to you, and I can talk forever. I talk to myself at an empty property at jobs. Okay. See, look, he's still talking. Right. Danny says, hi guys, I have a paint question. I normally paint small details on my models with enamel paints, but I want to try using acrylic paints. What brands do you use? And what do you seem to work best for you? John, what do you use?
There you go.
Well, yeah, Matt's a good example there. I got a mix of all sorts, to be honest. I've got some model colour, I've got Rebel Aqua colour, I've got Citadel. So yeah, it's a mixture.
Yeah.
I think it's quite handy having a couple of different types. I think, you know, it's quite handy to have a true acrylic. So, you know, on that form, something like model colours, you can get yourself your basic sets with those ones, with just like primary colours and stuff. Tamiya, because it's Tamiya and it's going to be fantastic all the way through. But also, as you say, like the Citadels, sometimes they do very nice silver paints and metallics. The Citadel ones are really nice. You know, the metal colour ones, you know, on here, again, other reasons for doing them in acrylics was purely because we used a lacquer for originally, then I went over them acrylics for detailing. So it's a case of I use the Mr. Metal coat. Don't like spraying it particularly, but for hand painting, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic stuff for hand painting. So in some ways, it's quite nice just to have a few different types, because if you are going to be coming along with other weathers and you're painting over things and stuff like that, you just want to be opposites. And for hand painting, you want them to probably be a little bit different to what you'll be using later on. So if you are thinking of, like I was on here, classic example, an oil wash, you're going to be using enamels with that one. So you don't want to be using enamel-based products, you know, and stuff like that. So yes, but say Tamiya, Mr. Model Colour, Citadel, Posca pens, because now I'm doing everything with them now.
Colour.
I've been using yellow
Life
today.
Colour.
Life Colour.
Technique.
Yeah.
To be honest, I only got like the basic colours because it's only hand painting, which I don't do a massive amount of.
Mm-hmm.
So I've mixed my colours to get a rough colour, if you know what I mean. I mean, Matt, he's got the full range there, but he does figure painting, so...
No, I just like collecting paint, John, really.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
To do with that.
I was trying to be...
I was going to say, how many of those paints has he actually used?
A lot of them, actually, but look how old they are. You can tell how old some of the model colours are, because they're the really, really old labels. And to be honest, when I started like you, I think... You know, like the model colour range, and I think AK and MIG, and then they do the sets, which are great starter packs. So you can, like you say, get your primary colours or perhaps some you need, and then you can test them. You know what I mean? Perhaps it's a 10 or 15 quid a pack or whatever it is. I don't know. But once you get them, and then if you get on with them, then you know you can expand your range or move to somebody else, really, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also it's what you get on well with and what you like with, as I say. But I always think it's quite handy to have just a few different ones. Like when I was doing here in the wiring, and I had to do painting the lead wire, I used obviously Tamiya because it's great. It covers everything and just whack it on because it's alcohol based. You know, it dries pretty quick, and then you can do it for all the different colour wires in there and stuff like that. So it's just handy to have a little bit of it. But, you know, if you're thinking true acrylics or you're thinking alcohol-based acrylics as well, it's always a bit tricky when people say acrylic. Real acrylics or dodgy acrylics? Dodgy but work acrylics.
Yeah.
Okay, David says, please disregard this if it's already been addressed.
Okay.
Move on.
Moving on.
Okay, he says, I realise that many variables go into determining the price of a kit. But I was wondering, seeing that plastic is basically a petroleum product, have you guys noticed the price of kits fluctuating with the price of a barrel of oil worldwide market? For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, oil prices have been cut in half. They were giving away oil at one point. It was in negative, wasn't it? It had actually got more than that. They were giving away barrels of oil just to keep the production going. Did the price of kits go down? Maybe. Okay, so like we've said, the oil, yes, you know, obviously sprues are, but I think it's quite common knowledge that the sprues in your kit is the cheapest part of the kit. The box will cost more. The instructions will cost more than the plastic.
The decals.
The decals will cost more than your plastic. Unless, obviously, some kits have got tons of plastic, then it's probably a little bit different. But if you're talking your standard 1/48 scale, 1/72 scale kit, trust me, the box costs more than the plastic. Because it's not a factor into it. It's the cheapest price that goes into it. It's a bit like perfume. We said about this, haven't we? That the perfume bottle and the packaging cost the money. The watery scent that is in it, toilet water or perform or whatever they're calling it these days, whichever the smart word is for it, you know, that actually costs nothing to make. It's all the packaging and stuff. It's very similar for kits and stuff like that. But in the kit world, obviously, it's more to do with tooling and design. That's where you're paying your kit prices, because the actual kit itself isn't that much, or the plastic isn't. But the box art, printing stuff, shipping it around the world, that's the cost.
There's shipping around the world, and also there's a variable in currency fluctuation. But you I don't think we've ever had it where a kit's actually gone down in price, unless it was discounted by whoever was trying to get rid of them. But full retail price is only going up. Unless somebody can correct me, but I've never known one to go down yet.
No, I've never known one to go down. Do you remember years ago when they had a potato blight, and the price of chips at the chippy went through the roof? They never came down after that went normal.
No, your dog's in the bin.
Oh, is she? Right, you get out the bin. Stop it, you little scroot. Yes.
Just see the
tail going past. Yes.
Yeah.
I must admit she was quiet the other day. She's in the bin eating some old chewed up like cloths and things. Nice. But yeah, that's the thing. As I say, the plastic cost is non-existent really. You know, they're all little tiny plastic chips in giant bags that rack up to these places and get compressed. Okay, Dean says, evening team, I was looking at some fake armour texture on 1/35 scale tanks and saw a video using Tamiya putty and Mr. S cement. I've never heard it with Mr. S. Hold on. Let me just...
do you want me to carry on? Right. I know which video he's been watching and what he's been doing, and yes, I've done that as well. So you can thin it with extra thin. And then what is it? Want some putty? Could you recommend? You want like the lacquer base, cellulose base putty. So the Revel putty that we now sell. It was the Squadron, but Squadron's obviously gone out of business, so you can't use that. We can't get the Tamiya putty, but I think the Revel one, the Plasto, is it called Plasto? I think that is a lacquer based or solvent based, should I say, filler. So that work. Hold I'm not sure on Mr. Hobby ones. Are they what? I think I've asked this before and I still don't know the answer. The Mr. Putty R and the other one, are they lacquer based or are they water based? And these AK ones as well.
Yeah, these are like lacquer based.
Are the AK ones lacquer based? Like that one, is that lacquer based? I think that's lacquer based as well.
I think
isn't
they're
it?
lacquer based ones as well.
So that'd work, wouldn't it?
Everyone sniff a tube.
Yeah, this has got a bit of a.
Oh, that don't smell. That smells.
Yeah, the Mr. Hobby. I've got the Mr. White putty. That's got a definite extra thin sort of smell.
So that'd work then. That ain't though. That's got a really weird smell to it. I might try a bit while we're on because I've got both of them here. I've got the white one as well. One's hard and one's standard, isn't it?
Oh, right.
Yeah, let me do a test.
Go on then. Wacko, we'll do a quick test. We'll see which is which.
I don't think that is. Smells too nice.
Yeah.
To be solvent. I think that's a water based one. I'm not 100% though. I could be wrong. Bet somebody in chat. Somebody in chat tell
Let
me.
me find an old crappy brush so I don't ruin a good one.
No, don't worry about that, John.
That Plasto putty from. Oh god, yeah, that is. You can smell because obviously that's that squadron stuff.
Yeah.
You can smell that solvent. I don't think that is. I think that's water based. But I have got. Hold on, actually. Oh god, look. This is how many putties I've got. There's the perfect plastic putty. How's that smell?
Well, I don't smell.
You don't smell of who?
No.
Oh, that's very disappointing.
Yes. Sorry. I've
Oh,
got lots of
God.
that. I like that. That's my favourite.
Yeah. Well. Hopefully we'll have this back in stock soon. So what are you testing, John?
Mr. White putty with extra thin. Oh yeah, that thins it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. So is that Mr. White putty or Mr. Putty R? Which ones you got? And Mr. White, right? So that works. So I will test.
Right.
I think I tested this, so I will test this, but I don't know if it is or not. Today, oh right, hold on. AK website says it's acrylic based, so I won't try it.
Oh.
Well done, Ben. Thanks for that.
Is that as in alcohol based?
That's
It's not going to show up because obviously it's white in a white bottle cap. But yeah, no, that does thin. Take my word for it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're thinking then Plasto, Breville Plasto, and Mr. White putty.
So the idea is what you're doing is making up a thick paste and then stipple it, yeah, to give that, and then let it sort of level a bit so it gives it that rippled armoured cast look. Yeah.
Well, the trick is because you can do it with lacquer thinners as well. I think the trick is with this, it will melt
the plastic as well.
Yes. So you actually get a better sort of texture and it will stick. It will go rock hard with that. And it's or any of them, you know, like the extra thin type glues. So.
The weld action glues. Because to be honest, I did something similar. I did it on my seats because I wanted to give it like furry sheepskin seat covers. I used got to remember what I used now, a little bit of perfect plastic putty, and I watered it down, and then I put it onto it. And as it began to dry, I stipple it, and then it obviously sticks up, and it looks like it's just like sheepskin that's been sort of crushed. And then obviously when you put a wash on into it, it gives it the shadows and stuff like that. And I don't obviously, you know, it's tiny. Don't really show up in scale. If you're doing it the size of a tank, it probably would, though.
Yeah, it just gives that armoured texture, the cast.
Yeah, you want it to be a proper cast look instead of being dead flat.
Yeah. So it's actually quite fun to do as well. It's quite, so
therapeutic.
Yes, it is.
Is that Mr. Night Shift?
It is Mr. Night Shift. Yeah. He's the one who does it, and you know his textures, and he likes texture, Mr. Night Shift over Martin.
Right.
He just like his textures. So yeah, if you ever watch this video,
so there you go. Have a watch of Mr. Night Shift then.
We'll give him a shout out.
We'll give him a shout out. Yes.
So Martin Kovac's channel, and go watch him for his armour because he is very good as well. He's a very good modeler. So yes,
excellent.
There you go.
Right, okay. Chris says, hi Phil and team, hope you're all doing well. Some 144 airliner kits. John, you're up, quick.
John,
I have no clue about clear parts and what to do with the decals for windows, etc. Okay, bearing in mind I'm building a 1/350th scale hovercraft. What was the FX one, the big one?
The SN one.
SRN4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good kit. Is that out of production? Do they not do that one? Was it?
Oh, they go for silly money on eBay.
Are they? Do they need to reissue that one under
I think
classic?
it might have been scrapped.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway, for a hovercraft diorama for the C6 SIG, technically, is it flying over it, or is it because they have a pilot on a hovercraft, don't you? Anyway, it has no clear parts. What colour would you recommend painting the windows? It's on the sea. Would blue be logical?
Do you know what? I would probably more go for a grey. And again, going back to who we've just been talking about in his channel, he does periscopes with a dark grey and a light grey and then puts a clear coat over them, and it's very effective, to be honest. And I don't know if that'd work on smaller windows in that scale.
Yeah.
So you get that sort of glassy look.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them sort of paint, fall in the eye sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Or why don't you just drill them out and put perfect thing in? If
Just use a bit of PVA glue them.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was going to say. But then obviously if he's got, if it's a hovercraft, I assume it's flat windows. They're going to be quite small in 1/350th scale. Because if you remember, do you remember when I did the aircraft carrier? Obviously that's 1/350th scale. I chiseled out all the windows and then put PVA glue in the lot. So you could do it like that. But yeah, it's, yes. I don't know the hovercraft. We need to know what type. If it's got big windows or not.
Well, we looked at these earlier. I think me and Andy, when we were on lunch, was going through the questions, and he Googled the hovercraft that it is. There you go. Good idea. So I think the trick is is to do dark at the top and light at the bottom, which is really back to front for the way you paint for light and dark shadows. But then it gives a reflection of depth, apparently, and then you put a clear gloss coat over it, whatever. And then obviously that gives a thing of the glass.
Oh, right, okay. So is that giving the effect to the horizon then, if you're light and dark?
I suppose so, something like that. Yeah. Or a sense of depth into the actual window, if that makes sense.
Because the thing is, the only one I did, well, I've got it here now, we gave it away, but when I did the Zvezda, yes, please, have a coffee. I know, I'm sure you've been very busy. You're home now, have a coffee. Anyway, when I did the Zvezda 787, it came with decals. And on those ones, it gave you a couple of options. You could either just have them like grey, or it did them like half and half. So it was like grey at the top, blue on the bottom. So I think it was that way of giving an effect of light through them. So, and I think I did do that one. We put them on the half and half one. So, yeah.
I've also seen people do it on, like gaming pieces, the wargaming guys.
Yeah.
So if you've got solid windows, if they've got the like spaceships or whatever they're doing, if it's Star Wars or whatever they're doing, I've seen it done the same technique with that as well, and it does look. Because what was it? A snow speeder? I think I've seen it done on. Somebody's painted the windows on a snow speeder, and I think they did use blue, but how they painted the blue, because it was very thin and watery. Yeah. Because it's distorted, it gives that impression, and then you put the clear coat on it. Again, they're probably worth looking at, the wargaming people on who do the vids and stuff for that sort of thing, because they pull it off, because they're solidly moulded, aren't they? So you have to give that sort of impression of glass. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so photographs. Okay, so Stuart says, hi all. Just a thanks for look, and chocolate as well. Well, leftover Christmas biscuits. Thank you.
It's alright. Come on.
Yes, bye kids.
Oh, we've got biscuits.
Yes, I got biscuits. We're going to stay. Right, sorry. Let's get rid of that a moment. Thank you for Matt and Andy for his painting and his Zvezda 1/43rd scale van arriving yesterday. See, Phil, even Zvezda have heard of. What is 1/43rd scale?
It's die-cast scale.
Oh, right, okay. For
cars, die-cast cars.
Is that what they all are? Is it? Is that the industry standard?
That's one, yeah.
Oh, right.
Sure it is. Isn't it, John?
Yeah, if you say so.
Oh God, thanks, mate. Thanks for backing me up there.
Anyway, okay. No idea about that one. Well above my pay grade. Les says, Phil and family, firstly, Sanders arrived in good time. Thank you. Yes, the wife has pinched them as well. Definitely. For information, yesterday there was a short chat about harnesses, so I thought I'd send these over as a little background. Hope that's okay. Harnesses choice on seats is governed by the customer and has two options: simplified harnesses and torso harnesses. The difference are torso you clip into, i.e. F-15, whereas the F-35 has the operators as simplified. One aircraft you can have two options. Back in the day was the F4, the RAF and Royal Navy had simplified harnesses, whereas the US Air Force, US Navy, US Marine Corps preferred to have the torso type. So torso type is the one that goes right over you, so you have like the buckle down here, as you can see on this photo, and the clip-in type, so that's what a Martin Baker 14 has got, the clippy where you clip in and clip in down at the bottom. So yeah, you would have thought though, because that's an F-35 seat, I think. Could be. I thought that would have the fast type rather than the full type. Weird.
I don't know much about what's what, if I'm honest, from ejection seats. I'll leave that to plane experts.
Yes. So, very nice. But there we go.
Has your helicopter got ejection seats by any chance?
No. I think it's just the Russian Hockham, isn't it, that just has the ejector ones? That's a leap of faith, isn't it? So you're going to crash, so you've got an option to eject and hope the blades go before you go through it, or crash.
Yeah.
So yes. Anyway, thank you for the information. Great reference photos as well.
Yes, they are very good.
And Les, we will take you up on that kind offer. I spoke to the lads earlier, so as soon as we can get out of lockdown, we'll come and see you.
And also, if you've got any carcasses, can we have them? Because we can make cool chairs out of them.
Do you know what? Yeah, Les, if you've got a couple of old seats kicking around, I would love to have one of them. I'd sit on that all day.
Let us know and we'll hire a van so we can get them back with us.
Yeah, I've had this discussion before. I had a couple of Phantom seats, and I was offered them, and at the time I had no money, so that was it. But they were going really, really cheap. You only wanted like 175 quid each, and they needed a bit of work still. They were rough ones, but anyway, now, yeah, silly money.
You can't, can you? There's no chance.
No chance.
Like that. You know what I mean? I actually, what did I see when I was at the old panel beating job where the coach builders was? Plans, I think I said this before, plans to build like an old bomber seat.
Yeah.
Like an old B-17, B-24 out of aluminium.
Yeah.
Somebody had done one, and I think they stuck them in a Beetle, to be honest. They made the seats come in a bug or something like that. And they looked absolutely epic. I mean, they're riveted together, but I think if you've got the nibbler,
that's it.
Cut out the templates and make it, I bet you could actually, I don't think it's overly complicated, you know what I mean? And a good rivet gun, but you make probably a good office chair as long as you can get some nice padding. You'd have to get a parachute to sit on, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you do need a bit of padding with them. They're a bit gnarly on their own.
Yeah, a bit on the backside, but they do look cool, don't they? That would look a brilliant office chair, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I must admit, I do like, there's that company, isn't it, in the UK, and I know there's one in the US, they just specialising in doing like turning office stuff from aircraft bits. You could have like tables from wings, and obviously you get the big curved seats, which is actually a 747 engine intake, and stuff like that. Yeah, they are fantastic, beautiful bits of work. That I'd love something like that.
I'd say a bit heavy though, aren't they? You don't need a sturdy base.
Yes, you would. Yeah.
Just like don't lean back.
Yeah, you'd have to have it downstairs because you're not going to carry it upstairs, are you?
Pull the cord.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you need the face curtain on it. Lean back.
Yeah.
Elbows in. Okay, going back. Lee says, good evening, everyone. I'm currently building the IMEX 1 to 550. That's another weird scale. What is it with weird scales at the moment? Tampa container ship. I've come to the last fun bit. Brush painting the ship's containers. I tried Tamiya, but it's just not going down very well. Could you recommend a good paint for these? I'm thinking maybe a quick, cheap option is using Revell Aquacolor, but I've never used them before. And being someone who is pretty much never brush paints, I'm sure I'm going to show you a tip in a minute. I'm sure they would be good for brush painting. Many thanks in advance. Don't forget, what you could do, because they're all the same size, is just make yourself a carved template and just spray it. right? So you just get a good quality piece of card. To be honest, one of our Flory Models ones, which I've moved them now, are brilliant for it. You know, these ones, okay, is that literally you just get one of them, cut it with a nice sharp knife so it's on, and then you go flat down, spray it that colour, and then go the other. Because when you put a wash over, any fuzziness between them, it will take care of. So you could go with the front as well, just a square. So you just go red, 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 and just work around and airbrush them in. I'm sure that'd be quicker. I'm sure I'll mention that to Ron.
Also, though, you know, if you just drilled an hole underneath, put a cocktail stick, and now you use like offcuts, as you can see, look, and like you say, just stick the cocktail sticks in there, and then like you say, just take them out, spray them, and put them in. I do it for wheels on tanks and.
Yeah, I think what it is though, those ones there are moulded solid in that configuration. So he's got to pick them out individually. But I'm saying if you just have it for like a 40-foot container in scale, you could just lay it over the top and just spray it. So do them all blue, and then just go around to yellow one, and just randomise it. And then when you put a wash over it, any fuzziness you might get between where you've put your template on, but it'd be quicker than masking it by hand and doing each one by hand. But if you've got a good piece of card and use a sharp knife to do it, so it lays flat onto it and you spray it. And when you come to the other ones, obviously it'd be squares. You can just do it in like square. I think that would be the quickest way to do it, even faster than hand painting it, to be honest.
But going back to hand painting, if he wants to use Rebel Aquacolor, they are really good for hand painting, aren't they, John?
Yeah, they're all right.
Really and also, I think it's about going down evenly, like we're saying. If you use a little bit of acrylic airbrush cleaner, a drop of that just to thin it a bit, it'll help with the flow, make it go down nice.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I just caught up with the next question, what he was on about earlier. I didn't know what he was on about. And the picture below, I think, like I say, that's taking your face mask a bit over the top, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, so Michael Von Bell, he's saying a few pictures from manufacturing from a few years ago from Special Hobby in Prague. A little conversation starter. Well, it was, because to be honest, we looked at this earlier and we were saying his face mask's terrible. You think, you know, he needs eye holes in that. No, he's obviously blanked it out, so he's not showing his face because the KGB will be after him. But our point was, when we're looking at this, we can't work out what this is. One is it's using Windows ME. So how many years ago was this taken? And secondly, can't understand what that actually is. Obviously, it's some type of bird type thing, but yeah, we couldn't work out if it's how they were designing the decals for it or something with the curves and the various things to go on. Yeah, I was a bit blown away with that. Anyone got any ideas? Post up now. 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So yes, but anyway, this is obviously how they do it. I say somewhat different to how other companies do it, I must admit. So it looks like they do a lot of theirs by hand finishing. They don't, obviously, health and safety, don't have covers on machinery or guards, but this is their injection moulding.
Works.
That's it.
That's a proper little cotton industry factory. I bet that's not like that no more, because that company.
I was going to say, because we were joking about this one and we were saying it's like proper welcome to the 1980s, isn't it? But we were saying they might have done it. We don't know exactly how old these photos were taken. So
I think they're quite old, to be honest.
And have they washed the net curtains?
Wait, don't knock them net curtains.
There's nothing wrong with them net curtains. But yeah.
That's all right.
That's it. And there's obviously the moulds. Resin parts being made. So yes, again, interesting ones. So it'd be interesting to see if they're still like that these days.
I tell you what, if you've got the resin parts, because they don't put resin in really anymore, so I bet that's really old. I wonder if that's when they was first, starting, because you used to get resin bits with the styrene injection bits, didn't you? Like the detailed parts. So I wonder if that's a very, an older picture, shall we say? Especially if you said that's what Millennium version.
Well, that's what me and Andy would think it is, isn't it? It looks like Windows ME.
Could be well old then, but interesting to see.
It is, definitely. It just shows a small little company. I think they're a bit bigger than that now.
I think we are. I think we should get invited to go to these places when we can. And
that's just because you like going to Eastern European countries.
Yeah, it's been nice to go into all the factories and speak to people. The
Is this
photos
when
from
we're
Special
allowed
Lobby-
out of lockdown? We can go on our world tour.
Hold on, it says here that photos from Special Lobby were taken in 2017.
And they're still using Windows ME? Jesus.
Perhaps
There
it
was a free
works for them.
upgrade. Did they not get that memo? To
Yeah,
Windows
whatever.
10? Crikey. Oh, well.
Anyway, talking of Special Lobby, we like Special Lobby.
Yes, we do.
And
Yes.
we've decided that the Matchbox thing that we're doing has now been scrapped and we're doing Special Lobby instead.
Yes.
And I've just literally decided it. So for Easter night, Special Lobby Easter.
I'll let
not
you
Matchbox.
fight out with the forum over that one.
I'm just waiting for chat to go off on one.
Yeah, it will. It'll kick right off now. Everyone's just got out and bought a Matchbox kit.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Special
So,
Lobby.
Nick's saying, hi, guys.
Now.
Hey, what?
You up?
I said eBay will be flooded with them now, with everyone's flogging them off now, so they can do that instead.
Yeah, go on. Carry on.
Okay, Nick was saying, from the C6 SIG, having to mix the paints with both pure acrylic and XF lacquer to colour match. When it comes to clear and flat coats, can a lacquer clear coat for them all, or do they have to be chop and change? So your lacquer paints and all the rest of it, do I have to chop and change with the colours? You can mix them all as long as they're okay. So if you're using like alcohol-based ones, like Tamiya, as you were saying, you can mix them with pretty much anyone. It won't be a problem. But if you're putting like Tamiya, because they're alcohol-based, into a pure acrylic, like we said before, i.e. life colour, things like that, they don't like it very much. They tend to go a little bit gummy. So the best thing to do is always just to check. Just get yourself a little dish of something like one of these typey things or anything, and just put a tiny bit in, put a bit in, mix it up, see what happens, leave it to one side. If it hasn't separated within a couple of minutes, you'll be absolutely fine. So yes.
So I was just watching them all go mad in chat.
Are they all kicking off in chat, are they now, are they? Hey, look, yeah. He's back down. Cool. They're all in the other chat discussing now, is it Windows or Windows 7? Is it Vista?
Windows 95.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Was it Windows 3 or 3.1? Or was that DOS in those days? Used to do it that way. God, who remembers DOS? Those were the ones where if you had a computer game and you wanted, you'd have to go to DOS before you started the game for each different one to tweak it a bit to get it run half decent. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. David says he's back on again. I'm currently building the Riffield Models Abrams Tusk tank and thought I'd have a go at using lead wire to add a few cables and details in the interior. Is there a primer that works best for lead wire? I'm planning on using Vallejo model colours. If it's just a cable, I wouldn't even worry about priming. You're just going to paint it.
You're not going to touch it, are you?
Anything will cover it. It's not a problem, you know. Yeah, I didn't, you know, with those, I just painted them straight away. I even tried it with Posca pens just to see, and they work on it as well. So, yes, you'll be fine. But honestly, I wouldn't overthink it about priming over it and all the rest of it. Just paint straight onto it. Okay, Jerry says, evening Phil and chaps. Now that I've started the initial work on his Hobby 2000 72nd viewfighter, I'm still a newbie after 30 years and I'm thinking ahead to my next project, namely a 72nd scale viewfighter Mark II with Merlin engines. I never knew it ever had the viewfighter had Merlin engines. That's something I've learned today. I've seen videos on other forums. Right, moving on. You remember, it's us or nothing. That's it. Right, on other forums, where was I? I'll put myself right off now saying that. Okay, there we go. About possibilities, two possibilities. High plane kits, but they seem difficult to come by and expensive, or Alicat conversions. For use with the new Airfix Viewfighter TFX. Again, expensive, but from seeing someone else's build, it looks very nice with care and patience. Seems relatively straightforward. Questions? Okay. Have you or anyone had experience of high plane kits? Anyone? High planes?
I've never built one, but they are, they are a challenge, I think.
I must admit, I haven't.
I remember reading about them.
I don't think I've even seen one of their kits, let alone tried to convert something from that one.
They're not Tammy, I'll put it that way.
Not a lot is, I think we've been saying recently. Or Alicat. Alicat tends to be quite nice, and the thing is, if it's a modern Airfix kit, that means Alicat's just done it, so it's going to be good. And I've known Alistair since he was a wee lad. No, not quite that long, but I've known Ali now for well over 15, coming up 20 years, and he does do some really good stuff. And I've built a lot of his stuff, so you know you'd be all right with that one. Given its early days for modelling, so yeah, I would say go with Alistair's one, wouldn't you?
Oh,
Go with the Alicat version.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. And also, like we're saying, don't be put off thinking, I haven't been modelling very long and all the rest of it. As I say, you've got all the time in the world for this, so it's patience. So when you're working with conversions and stuff like that, just have it all worked out where you're going to be cutting, what you need to sand away. And when you are cutting and sanding, always go a little bit on the side of, give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. So don't cut it right up to exactly where the line is, because you can sand it back, and you sand a bit, test fit, sand a bit, test fit, until you've got it to right. Because obviously it's a lot easier to sand off than it is to replace and fill. Okay, so when you're doing something like that, but again, it's that thing, understand how it's going to go together, understand what changes you're going to have to make if you're cutting off lumps, again, exactly where you're going. So mark it with a pen, like a Sharpie or something, on the plastic so you can see it, then double check, line it all up, because sometimes instructions might be wrong as well. So have it in your head, because many a time I've done it where I've seen, oh yeah, there's a panel line there and I've cut it. No, it's not the panel line, it's next to it, because they're doing it the conversion way, and the panel line that I've cut it isn't it. Buster, famously, I cut one side, and it's literally, because it's a tube, obviously on an F8, it's literally cut it here, and on the other side I cut it there, instead of it being next to it. So when it went to have the engine come off, it was completely the wrong panel line. So yeah, that was fun. So you end up having to stick it back on and then redo it all and re-rivet and panel line again, just because I cut it in the wrong place. So yes. Cool.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yes, definitely. Okay, Ben from, is he still in lockdown? Is he COVID free yet? Is he still isolated?
Yeah, still isolated.
Still isolated. Good evening, guys. Question for Phil. Has he got COVID or is he just isolating?
No, he's isolating. I think
is it?
His mother's got it, hasn't she? So.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, hopefully his mum will be fine and all the rest of it then, bless. I didn't realise it was quite that serious. I thought he was just skiving, you know. My friend's got COVID.
He ain't got time to skive,
That's
has
it. He should be packing our orders. Right. Evening, guys. Question for Phil. I've had a slight huge accident with the Dremel. Oh, no. On his Hasegawa FG1. The results are fairly a large hole in the side of the fuselage. So you know what we was just saying about making sure you know what you're doing? Ben's a pro, and even he's obviously screwed it up. Backup plan is the Edard Good Evening Danang Reeboks of the Academy F4C. Is there any area to watch out for during the build? As I say, I did the B, which so it'll be the same kit. So yes, I did the BN version, but then say the CD is the same one really. No, it's fine. It really is nice. I tried to shoehorn a little bit of photo etch into it that was for a Hasegawa kit. It didn't like it. But no, really, to be honest, it's pretty good. It goes together really well. I can't remember having actually a major fault. When we were going through some photos the other day, though, I did come out with a little bit of filler around for the engines, because obviously you've got the usual, it's got full length intakes, which is obviously better than the Hasegawa one. But so from that point of view, if you look at the photos of it, I actually got filler out on those areas and ended up filling them. Probably take a bit of care getting those in, but generally the rest of it I thought went okay.
I tell you what, somebody in our chat's just put flak.
Flak damage.
Flak damage.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. You could do a flak damage one. God, are they still on about bloody Windows down there in chat? Look, yeah, look, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows NT4, Windows 2000, Windows 7, Windows 10.
Just send an email to Special Lobby and ask them what Windows.
Yeah, what Windows version are you running?
So Ben's in chat and he says he's had a test this morning awaiting the results.
Oh, is he?
Well, hopefully it's negative, mate.
Yes,
Hopefully
that's
it's not
it.
negative. Anyway, just going back to Ben's question,
Yes.
because obviously now Andy's watching this, he'll be turning in his chair. And Edward, do you know how much that kit's worth and you're going to build it? Have you lost your marbles, man?
Are they going for good money, are they?
Probably. Edward, special boxing.
Also, what did you do? Were you trying to open up a panel, or were you like literally just trying to cut the intakes off
No,
or
he
something?
mentioned yesterday he's trying to shoehorn in here his cockpit into the...
Oh, right. Oh, and he's Dremel through the side, is he?
Yeah, yes, I think so, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, fair
Sure he'll tell us in chat, won't you, Ben?
enough. Come on, Ben. Tell us what you did. Did you screw it up?
Dremel through the side, yeah. It's like you say, it's probably easily done if you've got to thin it that much to get the resin in.
Oh, have we seen this? What Ben's put up? He says here.
I know about that the other day.
Frill,
shops.
as in Frill Tracks, have decided to stop supplying shops.
Yeah.
So you have to go direct, is it?
Yeah, but they won't ship here now, will they? Probably.
So they won't ship to the UK because we're like leper colony these days.
Just because he says it's an alternative, and if I've still got some here, but if I can find them, what have I got? I bet they're at work. What was that other mate we had?
Oh, what? The ones I used?
These, I've got some. Hold on. I found them. Master Club.
Yeah, Master Club.
They are proper nice tracks, and they come out of Russia,
Yes.
so we can get them.
We spoke to the man, didn't we, when we was in Eindhoven?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we kind of spoke to him, didn't we? We tried.
Well, he didn't speak English
Master
and we didn't
Club.
speak Russian, so we just did a universal language of pointing.
Pointed, yeah. It was very much pointing and sign language.
Which isn't easy when you're hungover.
Yeah. But these are really nicely moulded. I don't think there's any to no cleanup.
Yeah, this is it. If you look at these, literally, this is how good these are. These have got no cleanup whatsoever. And I was sold. It was brilliant. And then obviously, as you can see just at the top of the screen there, the little bricks, and they are a push fit. You don't even glue them in. You just push them in there like that, and they go in, and they are absolutely beautiful. You can see they come with the pins. You get these tiny little pins, and they just push in. That's it.
Right, hold on. Let me find these other ones I found. Watching, where is it? Oh, go away. I'll tell you what they are. I can't think what they are. They're called Sector 35 tracks, right?
Right.
Metal tracks that are already assembled.
Oh, pre-assembled, even better.
Right? They're not cheap, but they're already assembled. And what you do is get 4 or 5 links just to put in to make up.
Yeah, what you need.
You know, what you need at the end. And they do. If it's got SL on it, so they get your part number in SL. They're these pre-assembled ones, and then they do them unassembled. I think they're out of the Ukraine, and my God, how much? I know it's lazy, but blind.
So hold on. So by the time you can get your tracks done now, you can get 3D printed cockpits pre-painted, ready to go. There's not going to be a lot of the hobby left at this rate.
Well, yeah, but you know, for somebody who wants to tackle, you know, tracks does put people off, doesn't it? Let's be honest. And when you can get them sort of pre-assembled and you've got to add a few links, then happy days. And they're metal tracks, so you can burn, you can do everything with them. And apparently they're supposed to be quite good quality. But I say they are not cheap, right? I have got some on my eBay watch list for this Marder. All right, so obviously I've got some here. So these aren't the biggest tracks in the world, shall we say, off of Panzer II.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are going to cost £42.12p plus £7 some postage. Now then, I said they're not cheap, but hey, that's money well spent to me if I ain't got to sit there for 4 hours assembling tracks.
Paying for, isn't it?
He's been doing all week the tracks for it so far in his little jig.
I have got to admit, I did look for some tracks for that tank, and I can't find none. So I've had to sit there and build them. I can't find any metal tracks for it. So I've got Frill.
I've used Frill and all the rest of it. I have to say these Russian ones, they are absolutely amazing.
Brilliant. Well, when we was kind of having a kind of chat with him, he originally did these in resin. But the resin, because the resin's quite brittle, people were saying, "Oh, they're really nice," but they're too not odd. You know, we want metal ones, so he's ended up doing them in white metal, and they are brilliant. They're really nice. So
no. The thing is, I love about them is that no cleanup, no drilling out. The pins fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Proper, fully workable. Okay, Chuck says, Phil and team, I'm working on a 148 scale PE on a P51. The bigger parts I have no problem with. However, the super tiny PE parts that also fit around tiny curves to mimic the levers. Oh God, he's into that level of detail with them. Is okay until I try to get it to fit between two frames and get under a post. The small, tiny magnifying glasses, again, you're into a thing here. After several tries, the PE got ruined by the tweezers on my fingers. I've decided to paint the area using Posca pens of that size. Again, this is one of those things, it's like power levers and stuff like that. When I was working on various things like the bomber, you've got the levers and trying to get them in there and all the rest of it. If it doesn't work first time, if you start to bend them or the glue's not biting as you're putting them in and stuff like that, it's an absolute nightmare. What suggestion would you have for handling small tiny PE? Really good quality tweezers. Again, this is where it pays off. If you've got a really good fine point on them that actually holds things, instead of, we've all done it, if you slightly bend. I do find with these, occasionally what I'll do is I will literally just push them down and push the ends in a bit. Not like really hard, but just enough to make sure the tips are gripping. So when you do come in and you do pick up your little parts and stuff like that, that you've actually got a proper good grip on it to it. So when you come along and go in and do it, also, it's about the glue you're using as well. So if you're using super glue, which probably you are, is to have a little tray, like I've got this little guy down in here, and you have your tiny part, so you'll literally come along with it, dip it into the super glue, but that super glue's got to be good glue. Because if you're putting it on the item and it's just not sticking, every time you're pushing it in there and all the rest of it, if it doesn't instantly grab it, you're going to be making a right mess with it. So I suggest little bottles of super glue and just make sure it's fresh. Because if it's fresh super glue, CA glue, it will grip instantly to whatever it touches. But if it's been kicking around a while, it loses its instant bite. And that can be just about getting it to stick in there. Because if you're moving it around and trying to hold it into place, you want to literally just come along and just touch it and it grabs it and it doesn't move. Then afterwards, you can come along and reinforce it with some watered down PVA glue or something else like that to make sure it's got a proper grip onto it. But yes, the other thing as well is I know there is certain companies that will flog these or whatever they are, but rhinestone or little tiny there they are. It's rhinestone pencils. You can buy them off the net for absolute peanuts. They are like literally pence each, and again you can then come along and you can pick up various items because all it is a wax pencil and it holds the photo etch. So you can then come along and even if it's something on the side, you can come on with it and then stick it down and stuff like that. But it's got a little bit of bite to it, so it's just enough to hold it on your actual said item when it's a fresh pencil. So it's not going to do it now. But yeah, so they're quite nice. All you do is just sharpen these and it's a fresh bit of wax and then you push it in, it holds the part, you can go along and it's only got enough friction just about hold it on there. So you place in, you're literally just touching and then you come away and it'll hold it in place.
I got one of these things. These pick up and... Can you see that?
Has it got little jaws on it?
No, it's got the little sticky end.
Oh, right, you got a sticky bud on the end.
But I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't think it's going to last long, is it, really? Because it's going to lose its tack.
I would have thought so.
I think your wax pencil bit is probably a more...
The great thing I like about the wax pencil, it's got just about a grip to hold the item. So when you push it on, it doesn't bend or push anything out of the way. It just drops onto it. But I think, honestly, it's more important to have a good, fresh CA glue than it is the holder item. So if it's got instant grab, it's a piece of cake.
It will grip it, don't get me wrong. That's a bit of photo etch I've just picked up. And it does work, but I'm just wondering how long the actual sticky will last on it before it's no good.
Yes. So, yes, that I would, and it's one of those things. It's patience, but also if you're working on something like in a cockpit and you're doing all the levers and pull handles and T-bars and all the rest of it in there, it's working methodically so you're not going to go back in that area again. Because if you knock it, it's going to ping off. But if you don't touch it, it'll be fine. So it is that thing of like, right, I'm going to do this, then this, then this. So you're working out the back. It's like painting the floor, working your way out the room backwards. So.
Oh, right. Apparently they refresh with a drop of fairy liquid. All right, okay.
All right, there you go.
Oh, that comes in handy to know then. Oh. Yeah, thanks for that.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay,
next question.
Nick says, hi guys, just about to attempt my first modelling job on a 30-second BF109 using Hataka orange line and self-leveling thinners. To get a head start, what pressure and ratios of paints would you recommend? I'm aware Phil doesn't usually talk about pressure. Any advice would be much appreciated. No.
You're right, we don't talk about pressure, do we?
We don't. It's to do if it's working or not. You put enough air pressure to get your paint out, that's it. So...
You want it low.
Low. Don't forget, the whole thing is your airbrush works like a cone. We often say it's working as a cone. So you need to get close to get it nice and sharp and get it right down so you get no overspray. So getting that close, you need to lower your air pressure right down. Because you're lowering your air pressure down, you need to thin your paint. So it's just working it out. But a lot of this will be is just testing it. Getting it to a thing where you're happy, where it's got enough cover, okay, and you're a good distance, so you don't want to be any more than literally a couple of centimetres away from your model. So you can just go round and literally you'll go round and then colour it in, go round, colour it in, so forth and so in, isn't it? But like I say, pressure is really, really difficult. Depends obviously on the nozzle size of your airbrush, what you're using, you know, things like that as well. But you're going to be sub 10 PSI, aren't you?
Yes, definitely. You need it low, don't you? Down low, close in. But what ratios we're looking? 70-30?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, I would honestly with Hataka, because Hataka, I thin that, you know, literally 60% is my standard one anyway. So I'll thin it 60% to 40% paint. So for doing stuff like that, yeah, you're well into the 30s, 30-70, you know.
What about you, John? With your Attacker, how do you like to thin it? Because I know you're a massive fan of that paint.
Well, when I did my 410, the modelling and that, I used MRPs. That's straight out of the bottle then. But I will say, I've avoided it for years, but it's not as difficult as you think.
No.
Is it?
No.
No. It's all
one of
practice.
those things,
It's just...
it frightens the life out of people, but when you start doing it and you get into a rhythm with it, I would never do it with acrylics, like Modern Air or anything.
Oh, definitely. You know, obviously, for years and years and years, I just used acrylics and like Model Air and all the rest of it, and doing modelling. Oh, Jesus! I spent more time clearing out the airbrush on the side. I go through like probably more paint goes on the the mat than it actually goes on the model because you're like clearing it through. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, our box. Now, obviously, we're using lacquers. It's like good, right, all the way through. Never blow out once. You know, nothing at all. So.
Yeah, it is one of the main advantages in it for with lacquers over the acrylics for doing stuff like that.
If you found as well, take the needle cap off the end.
Yes.
And get in nice and close.
Yes. It's all to do with distance, isn't it? The closer you can get. So obviously when you're that close, you don't need much paint, you don't need much air, you know, so you are literally on top of it. But also don't be worried about going back. As we said, with all modelling, it's never nice. It's never, you know, don't get carried away what you see in museums and that. If you look at reference photos from in the day, they're rough. You know, they just blow it on and that's it. It doesn't line up. It's not right. It's not nice. So why should yours be as well? You don't want perfect modelling. It makes it look more realistic.
Don't get hung up on getting it to match exactly what's on the paint sheet.
The references, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, why can you actually figure out what is on the paint sheet? Because I don't think I've ever been able to figure out mottling's supposed to be on a paint call out for anything. I've tried. Just ended up just doing. Oh, I like that, and I'll just do it. But I agree with Phil on that. The main thing is don't, like you say, you can go back in with your RLM 76, 60, whatever you're doing, and fill it in where it's a bit blotchy and horrible, and it just go back and forwards. Don't be frightened to do that.
Yes. As I say, just go back and forth in some ways I think works quite well because you get different colours then and more realistic textures in your paintwork and everything.
Yeah. Get more texture.
Right. Okay. So Martin says, "Evening Flory team. I'm looking to renew my metal paints. I'm just wondering which range you'd recommend, which cover most subjects. Many thanks for all the interesting and entertaining. Personally, as you know, I like AK Extreme Metals, and if you're doing acrylics, I like the Vallejo metal color. That's my go-to ones, but I'd say I have other ones as well. But if you're talking just generally for painting things metally, that's it. John, what about you?
I've got mainly MRPs.
Is that because you've got a lot of them?
I have the range of MRPs, yeah.
Yes.
I've got the extreme metals as well, but I don't use those that often. Not for any particular reason. It's just there at the top of the paint rack, and the MRP bottom of the paint rack that are easy to reach.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. That's his reckoning to it. Yes.
Fair enough.
Matt?
Extreme metals, and then actually quite liking the Mr. Colour ones now. The
super metallics.
Super metallics are nice. Yeah,
super metallics are very, very nice. Yeah, but they're lacquer-based ones.
A variation in colours, the AK Extremes has got the bigger.
Yeah, you got all of them in there.
You know, you got everything there. So I'd say them, to be honest. And they're dead easy to use, aren't they? Like, really easy to use.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, that's why I like the extreme metals. And like I always say, when you first put it down, it's all to do with, obviously, what it's going over. So make sure you got a nice black glossy finish and you have a stunning metal finish. But when you first put them down, they don't look that good. They look like a metallic paint. But half hour later, they just go to life and they get real good hues of colour of metallics and that. Like, to be honest, I know I harp on about it, you can't see it, but having the B17 hanging off the wall as it is up here, the light catches it, and like the studio lights are really powerful, but it's got all the metal hues. You've got like those pinks and purples in it and stuff like that. Yet I haven't seen that with other manufacturers of paint. And again, it just, as you move around, it catches it and the light changes on it. It's very, very realistic. It looks like polished aluminium. So that's why I quite like it. And it looks good and it's impressive, and it's nothing I've done. I just sprayed it. And that's, I think, a sign of a good paint. The bit where it looks like you've done something special to it, but actually all I did was give it a single coat of it and walked away. You know, the rest of it's all done itself. So definitely. And, oh, look, AK's made something. Thin down putty. Easy cast texture medium. Okay, this product is for texturizing smooth and giving a typical rough appearance to the cast metal. Improve your model's Gundam, sci-fi, military, and blah, blah, blah. Can be coloured with acrylic colours as well. Ooh, so it's an acrylic texture. So we think that's watered down. That one you had that was water-based. That was AK's, wasn't it?
It could be. I've never seen it, but yeah, it's probably a watered down filler, isn't it?
So it's watered down filler, and you can put acrylic colour into it to colour it. Oh, look, there you go.
Oh,
That's good.
You don't even have to spray your tanks.
Yeah, you just putty it on.
Tank in that,
yeah.
putty it on.
Yeah.
Happy days.
There you go. That looks good.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. There you go. It might not be just a gimmick after all.
No.
AK and MIG, thinning products again.
Oh, here we go.
But no, actually, that might be a good one to do. If you can't be bothered to make up your own and you're a bit of, you just want to just chuck it on and go for it, it's quite good. But it's clever how you can colour it as well. So as you said, you could technically not bother painting your model, just do it in one end as well.
I've just had a thought. Hey, I wonder if that smells of emulsion.
What, like their other stuff does?
I know, seriously.
Go on, give it a whirl.
Well, no, because I've got that in there.
Yes.
This stuff that what I use
that's
on
ground
bases.
texture though, isn't it, rather than armour texture? Yeah,
but it's got
your emulsion with grit in it.
It is so emulsion paint now. You just can't get away from it. It just smells like you've just painted your walls.
That's because it is emulsion paint with grit in it. Dave says in very small writing, hi all, going to try and use 502 oils for weathering for the first time. What is the approximate drying time before you can overcoat it? Is it like enamel and takes days? No, depends what you're talking, isn't it? What levels? Matt's the expert. Go on, Matt.
take all the oil out of it, put it on a piece of cardboard or kitchen roll like we've mentioned loads of times before, and make it so it's pure. Yeah, like Phil's got.
I could sell these. We do them in packs of
yeah, packs of 10 cardboard squares.
AK will next week. They'll be doing them. They'll be calling rapid drying panels or something.
Don't give them ideas.
They steal all my good ideas.
Yeah, and then to be honest, it doesn't take long to dry. 24 hours.
Yeah.
It will be rock solid because you've taken all the
linseed oil out,
the oil
it?
or whatever out of it.
Yeah.
It takes it forever to go off, and then you'll be able to overcoat it. So, yeah, it is the oil in it that slows it down, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. The oils is what makes it sort of flow and push around. If you take them out, they dry really, really quickly.
Okay. Then obviously, what we sell at the PM store, you can get some fast drying thinners.
Yes, so you can use quick drying thinners as well, which will speed it up. So what is left will take no time at all. But honestly, you've seen probably, I've done it loads of times. I always show it when I come to do my oil work. You put it onto the card. It's amazing how much oil comes out of it, especially you come back the next day and your cardboard's completely covered, you know? Yeah. So, and again, you can see it as well, because I often have them. I haven't got any on the go at the moment, but I have old bits kicking around and it goes rock hard because all the oils now come out of it. So it's actually gone completely off. And when it goes completely off, you can't get it back. It's proper gone off. It's very hard to get it to come back again. So yes, good job.
Is that all the questions, or is there any more?
Hold on, there's just two more, then we'll call it quits. Roger says, don't know Ben, but I've seen he is local to me. Oh, look out, he'll be popping round for a swab. Does he have a shop? No, Ben works for, are we allowed to say?
Ben does have a shop. He has a massive
He's got a massive warehouse.
Yep. It's huge.
It is.
Like massive.
Yeah, he works for a distributor, one of our very large distributors. I don't know, are we allowed to say? I don't know.
Ben's in chat. Ben, can we mention
can we say it? If he says yes, we'll shout him out.
Yeah, and get a kickback for advertising.
Yeah, so obviously we will be expecting freebies for this.
Yeah, it's 60,000 square feet, so we can mention it then, Ben, can we, yeah?
Yes.
I think that was it. Yes, you can.
Yeah, so Ben works for Creative Models. So if you go on, they have a website and all the rest of it. Not that, they're not as good as us, clearly. PM is like, fantastic. And also, Ben's not there at the moment because he's self-isolating. So it'll take him forever to get your order out because Ben's normally in charge of that bit. So, yes. But no, Creative Models, Ben works there. They're one of the big... they're importers, distributors and retailers, and they do a nice line in jigsaws as well.
Apparently so.
Yes.
Or they did.
If they're like, I know a guy who's got a company opposite me on the industrial estate, and he said if he could get them, because as soon as it comes in, it literally just flies out. It's been a fantastic year for them.
Hey, just as Ben's put up, it's not a retail shop. You can't just go in
and
shop.
It's an online store. If you go to Creative Models, make sure it's the UK one. There's another one in Australia. That's not them.
Yeah, no.
Last question then. Tamiya do a single-use CA glue sets. Can PM get these? No.
No.
I've spoken to our man at Tamiya about this, and you can't get them imported. And do you know what it is? It's because the crib sheet that comes with it is this big, and they can't get it on something the size of your thumb.
No.
So they said they can't fold it up physically and do the packaging to put it on the item, so they can't do it.
No.
It's ridiculous.
It's enough one Tamiya's super duper product probably that we can't stop.
Yeah, that's it. Purely because you can't get all the health and safety that you need to put on it.
Actually, answering thingy, because if Nathan were on, he'd say this. He goes and buys like these cheap super glues.
5 gram ones. Yeah.
Yeah, the little ones. And that's why, when we sell our super glue or we stock it in the shop, I only get the 14 gram one.
Yes.
Which is, sorry, I've got one here, look, that size.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because you can get bigger. But it goes off, so you're wasting it. So
absolutely.
That's why there's no point. Is the smaller one you can get, the more likely you are to get some use out of it before it goes to rubbish.
Yes. And they will. That's the thing. Super glue has a shelf life. And we've spoken about it before. People say about putting it in the fridge and keeping it in the dark. It's like a mushroom in it and all of this. But at the end of the day, it literally just it turns off. And the bit where you're trying to stick and it's not working, just bin it, save yourself all the aggro and just get a new one. That's why I used to have the little ones on a card. It's like 5 gram ones you pull off. You used to be able to buy them and just have them.
I use like the Loctite stuff that you get in any hardware store.
Yeah,
Well,
and I've had
you
that as
doing
well,
that
and I've had the gel type as well, and it's very
Yeah.
good. But again, that goes off. And my little, okay, I can talk about that because I had one of them the other week, and I went to take the top off. You know that black one, and it's got like
Yeah.
the cap, and it's like a bayonet system. The entire thing came off where it's super glued on this side, and I went like that, and it sheared it completely off. So it's like, oh, that's that gone then. So that's answering the question. If super glue's so good, you wouldn't be able to get the lid off. And that proved that fact because I couldn't get the lid off.
Yeah. So, just somebody's asking about in our chat about MIG transpirator. Just thin paint. Is it enamel lacquer? I've got no idea. I've never used it. Unless somebody else knows. I don't
Say,
know.
what is it? Never heard of it.
Oh, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. If that makes sense, I don't know what's in it. So, if anybody else knows, shout up because I've got no idea. And again, just like I said it yesterday, but we'll say it today as well. You know, if you have got any questions, can you put it in the ask the team bit for whatever day it is and not in the chat? If you're talking amongst yourselves in there, that's all right. But you know, we can't. It's a bit of a nightmare to keep an eye on the chat.
It's trying to keep up.
So if there's any questions, put it in the ask the team bit for whatever day you want it answered on.
Yes.
Even though we're on holiday for the next 2 weeks, aren't we?
Apparently,
Okay.
yeah, that's it. We've done our bit.
We've done it.
We're off to the Seychelles.
We are off. We are off to sit in the garden.
Hey, this weekend I am. I'm chopping down all the trees out the back. So there's me let loose with a chainsaw. What can go wrong?
Yeah.
So yes, good job. Right, are we done then, guys?
What? Oh, finishing early tonight. We're in early bath.
Early bath.
Early bath tonight. Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
Well,
John?
no, it's 9:15.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No,
We do the
that's it
afternoons
then.
of the 2-hour jobs, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, it is. Yeah. Yes, we are finito.
Yes. Better see the other half. She's had a hard day at the office.
Oh right, yeah, you better go then.
So yes, cool. Right, okay. So we'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon at about 2:00 for a couple of build along hours. If
3
we're all good
o'clock
with that.
tomorrow.
3 o'clock. We're doing 3 till 5, are we?
Yeah, 3 to well, as long as it's all right with Mister. I'll ask him. He's in tomorrow, not home.
Oh right, okay. So yes.
So I might be on with you till 5. He might be going at 4. So
And then he'll be back on half hour later when he's from home.
Yeah, he'll have more speeding tickets so he can get on for 10 minutes.
So yeah, so anyway, we will be back on with you. Obviously,
All right.
I can't do this weekend because I am seriously. I'm cutting down all the trees in the garden this weekend. I've got a few jobs to do around the house.
Honestly, I can't do this weekend anyway because I actually need to go on with this bloody jag up. So it's never ever going to see the light of day. So.
Yeah, I'm working Saturday anyway, so.
Oh, yeah, no weekend.
No
show
live
this
stream this weekend then, guys, because obviously we are a little bit busy. But so we'll be back with you next week. But we will be on tomorrow then. So we'll be on with you at 3 till 5 tomorrow. So if you want to come on and join us for a couple of hours like that, as we do a build along, obviously we'll be updating what we've been up to this week. And obviously the next part of this little lady will be up with you as well for the members. So that'll be up. I'll put that up around about lunchtime. If I can get a bit of time tomorrow as well, I'll do a couple of reviews as well, and we'll get those up as well, because I've got a few of those to get through as we make our way through. So, thank you very much for joining us. Absolute pleasure as always. So please remember, stay safe, stay sanitised, but most of all, enjoy your modelling. So see you later, guys. Happy modelling. Take care. Bye. Say goodbye, gentlemen. Okay.